I'm Roy
There was no
Rogers.
sound. Here you go. There you go.
Now there's
Just kidding.
like fun of Roy for not starting properly on the actually buzzes. All right, so hello everyone, and welcome to this emergency episode of Second Sons. As always, I'm Roy Rogers, formerly of the New York City Meta, currently of the Philadelphia Meta. I am joined by a ragtag group of my fellow Second Sons and a few special guests tonight. So, because this is an emergency episode and we don't want it to last a million years, I'm going to move quickly through introducing everyone. Glazer, who is image free tonight, thank goodness for all of our YouTube video viewers say, does not get to talk in this segment. We're joined by my usual of Lucas, Sid, Jank Tank Slasky.
Ooh.
Sandy, how are you doing today, Mr. Barnabas?
Gonna be a long night.
Nearly top 4 European finalists. Buzz, how are you doing?
Good.
Do you have funny Euros?
Yes. I met the Brits and everyone at least.
You've met the Brits before.
Yeah, like 5-9 times. I don't know.
That's constantly, constantly re-meet them.
Yes.
So,
Those
and then
they're hard to know.
hard to know. We're joined as well by our sister, cousin, nephew podcast friends from the Wars to Come, Jesse Carpenter and Chris Thompson. How you doing today, guys?
Good. Fine. How are you?
Yes, we beat the Wars to Come announcing a special emergency episode. We get all the extra guests. And last but not least, the other man who went to Euros, top 32 in Joust. Did you do okay in Melee, Tom, or did you not play Melee?
I'm not going to comment on Melee.
He was so miserable. He dropped.
He had a good deck.
He didn't play
that deck
well.
was horrible.
That deck was sick as fuck.
Every game,
Jesse Carpenter hasn't lost a Melee in like a year. Can't say his deck is bad.
Every game, I either drew the pieces that gave me power or the pieces that modified the power, but I never had both.
Every single card gives you power in that deck.
No,
because it modifies it onto your house card. What are you talking about?
No, there's like
is Tanya historical Tinder right now? Like, what are you doing? What is on your screen there? You're like clicking through photos, and what is up there?
Are you talking about me? This is my Facebook feed.
It's like Facebook feed. It looked like some historical thing you were. Like,
he's on Hot or Not.
Oh, Hot or Not. Okay.
I am now.
Is somewhere. All right. So first off, before we get this, congratulations to friend of the show, my good friend Wama, who is our European champion of this year. I would invite anyone to please go sign the petition, try and get Wama a card design, and to restore card designs to the Continental Championships that's being passed around by the UK players. I signed it myself. I hope that you will as well, but congratulations to James. Well-deserved. The pillar of the British community, besides Bamford and the rest of the banter, intellectual property thieves.
Come on. Wama
Besides
is better.
everybody
Wama's
else.
better
Hey,
than
hang on.
Bamford.
I haven't even been able to get my post-Wars to Come acrylic from Canadian Nationals, much less these people getting champ cards. Really think that's going to work out?
No, it doesn't hurt to try.
No, we don't expect good things from FFGOP. But do you not know what podcast you're on?
We want to bitch.
Right.
So.
Sometimes I forget.
That's why Second Sons exists. Our most popular episodes are ones like this. All right, so let's jump into the thick of it. The reason we're here, which is this morning or this afternoon, a FAQ dropped, which updated the Melee, Joust, and Joust restriction, and errated 2 cards. So Alex Hines has I don't know, died of a stroke or something. So there is errata in two cards for second edition, Game of Thrones second edition. So it's quite an interesting. Yes.
Is this the first errata? Did
second
the first
edition
LCG have errata?
Oh,
I know
yeah.
CCG did. What was
Yeah.
The L5 Arts had errata. I know Star Wars has had errata. I don't know.
So Horus red wine was errated earlier because it didn't say lady character or whatever, but that was like a typo or something.
Yeah. This was the first like Danny / the proofreader, Alex Hines.
This makes me so happy, like unbelievably happy.
So where do we want to start, gentlemen? Do we want to start with the only game that matters, Melee, or do we want to jump straight into Joust? Joust is technically first on the list, so.
Well, we should get Melee out of the way.
All right, get Melee out of the way.
I mean,
All
we're
right,
gonna be here for hours.
All right. So 1, 2, 4, 5, 6 cards were added to the Melee restricted list. Flea Bottom, Song of the Seven, Corpse Lake, Hyena Merriweather, Doran's Game, and Khal Drogo. So we have 2 of the best Melee players in the world here, the reigning North American Melee champion and the second place European champion. So Buzz, Jesse, which one of you wants to take a stab at the Melee list?
Hey, Buzz has been second place in lots of places.
Yeah. First of all, we have the entire top 4 table from the North American Melee.
Somehow this keeps happening.
Really fast. All right, let me drop Glazer from the call, and we can just get some
really good decision.
I can go first. I think the list is fine. Corpse Lake should be on it. Song of the Seven should be on it. Drogo doesn't need to be on it. There's
I'm so depressed.
There's no reason. First of all, there's no reason that Doran's Game needs to be on this list. It needs to be on the Joust list for sure.
Fuck you! No, it doesn't.
Melee. Fuck, even Europeans are only seeing 4 plots. In America, you're only seeing 2.
It's true.
No one's fucking Doran's Game in this fucking thing. Like, I tried to build the deck. It doesn't work. Like, I don't know. It's fine. Like, I'm excited for a mix-up. Like, I didn't think Flea Bottom needed to be on it either. Honestly, I don't think it's that oppressive.
Maybe it was a typo and they just put Flea Bottom on the wrong list.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. Can I suggest that the like
RL Errata
list is really should just be the Joust restricted list? Like, I don't understand this at all.
Just combine the 2.
We obviously know what these problems are, but let's just ignore them.
No, I mean, here's my take on why they included some of these. I think that one, anything that like Khal Drogo is just oppressive in Melee if you can stand people. It's stupid. I for once I have if I'm finally I can't just play my Joust deck, my Joust Targ deck and win Melee. Like, that's a pretty consistent thing that happens.
But Sandy, I thought that if it didn't win the whole tournament, it couldn't be that good and oppressive. And since you didn't win the whole tournament, then it shouldn't be on the restricted list. That's been your logic.
I blame malicious. That's only true in Joust. It's only true in Joust. And I also blame Roy's maliciousness for me not winning that game.
I blame your maliciousness for you not winning that game. Me not winning that game. So it's just like we're gonna never forgiving each other circle.
And I just don't understand. So like, if we're talking about oppressive characters in Melee that can just be abused, like, I don't think either one of those should be on here. But like, if Drogo's on here, then poor Asha Greyjoy should. Like, if Drogo's on here, then Randall Tarley should be on here. None of these cards should be on here.
Well, possibly Randall. I could understand Randall, but I think the thing is Drogo gives you an extra challenge and has renown, and so
does Olena's Informant.
Well,
she doesn't have renown.
Someone
on a Tyrell side will have renown. I promise them that.
I guess Khal Drogo is a passive effect, right? Like, Olena's Informant requires resources to put into play. Khal Drogo, if he's your only character and you have Plaza of Pride, you still do 2 challenges military after everyone tries to shut you down. But I think so. Doran's Game, it's a lot easier to win by 5. There's multiple opponents that you can do that versus. Song of the Seven, you're obviously going to lose dominance a lot more in Melee than you are in Joust. I don't think
I said I think that card should be on there. I won 2 games with that card.
Yeah, that card is.
What card?
Is it really that strong in Melee?
Song of the Seven.
Song
of the Seven is probably the best Melee card in the game. It's just nuts.
13 or then they think they can stop you with the next plot phase, and then you're just like, nah, let's go ahead and end it. Song of the Seven.
Well, they shouldn't let you creep to 13, right?
Hey, like, what Song of the Seven?
After you lose dominance, you take 2 power off the person who won house card and put it on a 7 character.
Oh,
It's
that-
also
yeah,
just
that-
really
that-
obnoxious when multiple people have them. So
That makes
Yeah,
me think it's even less powerful if anyone can run it, right?
anyone can't run it.
Yeah,
Yeah, but the
that's-
idea is
Or
the
seven
first
players can
person to
just
play
walk
it
over
just
someone and stop.
wins, so it doesn't matter how many have it, right? As long as you're first, you just I win.
I mean, that card doesn't seem
Anyway.
any less busted than like a Greyjoy card lets you pay 3 gold to go first.
the initiative should have been on the restricted list before it was released. I agree.
Okay, I'm just making
What
sure.
is
Like,
this?
I haven't played
Will Rapid
Melee
Storm?
in the
Are we
last 2 weeks,
pre-restricting
but
that? Like, it's fine.
Buzz,
So-
what do you
Nobody.
think?
I mean,
So I
Really?
think you're all missing some points. The melee restricted list is based on and
Oh, is it?
community. Yeah, I mean there
It
was
started. Yeah.
there is a
Yeah.
melee council made a restricted list for Dalek last year, and for the day after that they posted it for FFG, and we adopted that list. So close. And the spirit of that list is the spirit that we have wanted for Joust for so long. Doesn't matter if Drogo should put him on their balanced Targ, because Targ is stupid good. So we have one card on there. Class is all Drogo on there. Takes them down a notch, and that's what.
same with Blue Bottom.
Buzz, this is the only thing I think in the world we agree on.
Yeah, I do not think Doran's game should. If they manage to get 5 stuff in their pile, I mean, good for them. Way to
Want
go,
a
man.
cookie?
Yeah.
Hey,
So-
Chief.
from what I
as someone
understand, in
doesn't-
more me. Go ahead.
Well, wait.
I was
Actually,
saying-
I've got an idea. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Someone who cares more about melee
Well,
can go.
No, well, I care about this one card. So as someone who hasn't played Melee in a long time, but would again, why is Tana on there? What's going on there? Can someone
I'm-
explain?
Wait.
Maybe
Can we
just
I'm
stick
not
with-
sure.
Wait. Can we stick with Doran's game before we move on first?
Yeah, go on.
Because is that card that's coming out for Greyjoy that lets you go first, like at the end of the challenge phase, out yet?
No, it's out.
Comes
This
out.
No,
Comes
No.
out Thursday.
Is it loyal?
I'm not sure.
Because well, if it's not loyal, like one Ricasso plus that plus Doran's game is an awful lot of fast power.
Mhm.
Like you can get like 6 or 7 on turn challenge, which is pretty big. Like it requires that specific piece, right? But plenty of people in melee just don't have the intrigue to stop you.
Also, don't forget Salt Cliff Sailor. That combo still works.
Yes,
So like all
Salt
that,
Cliff
like
Sailor should probably be on the list.
correct.
that-
Salt
that
Cliff
I-
Sailor
that I
should
can
be
see.
on every restricted list from now until the end of time. I love
We're
that
talking about
card.
Melee or in Joust? Are you just saying that?
Well,
Every
That card is busted.
But
in
I
Melee.
hear that the art is L5R for it to be playable. I don't know.
Seize the initiative is in fact non-loyal.
So
Oof.
then there's your melee combo. And good thing Doran's game restricted, right?
Look at Aaron breaking the Melee meta live on Second Sons in a format he does not
Martel
give 2
Kraken.
shits about.
The only time I thought about melee. The only time I
Martel
thought about
Kraken.
melee in 2 seconds, like, ooh, I can do a lot of use plot trick with that. And then
Hey-
I moved on mentally. I
Jesse.
didn't tell anyone.
Can Martel Kraken win a Melee tournament filled with people who really care about Melee in the United States?
Check it out at Gen Con.
All right.
just
we-
scroll down Jousting Pavilion
So-
and get in the bottom, you'll find it.
We'll go to Sid's point in a moment. I just want to say one thing. From what I understand, though, in some communities where Melee's played a lot on a more regular basis, Doran's game has been running away with it, and they have reported things to Danny. So he's probably just responding to communities that are not articulate on Second Sons that more
You
regularly
mean
play
NA
Melee.
community?
Oh, just like South America, Europe. So
Okay,
Give us
That-
some
I'm just
GBM
saying, I-
not
coordinates.
Europe, because
Yeah.
Martel is.
Well,
I will
is
say,
okay.
Minnesota.
I will say, leading up to first player and leading up to Euros, I was in a group with who I believe are the best melee players in the world. One of them was on this cast, and like,
I know that group.
yes, it was a good group, and we tried
Sure.
several times to figure out the Ricasso nonsense in Melee. It just was too slow.
I think it needs
wasn't-
I think it needs the Kraken you go first thing. Otherwise, it's a complete loss, and I'm not sure if it could
Yeah.
consistently pull that off.
And
I mean,
Buffalo Sailor.
If you drop Ricasso on the board with a gold on it, you have immediately made an enemy. Like you cannot talk your way out of winning the challenge by 5.
Yeah, no.
Let me win this thing. Yeah, that's true.
Just people using their Marjorie to pump other people's characters to.
Correct.
Yeah, but Ricasso gets automatic stealth with Soulcliff Sailor.
Oh no, fuck.
They only have one intrigue icon.
Yeah.
Who cares?
No, I mean,
stealth doesn't matter if there's a target at the table and just burns
That's
it to the
true.
ground.
yeah.
But
I
Drogo's
definitely
restricted,
use-
so it won't be.
I definitely use Crown of Gold on Ricasso.
Good
All right.
target.
So,
Yeah, that's the right decision. Like,
any
hey,
more?
hey, if you're playing CT deck, burn Ricasso.
Sid, what was your point? Taking us beyond Doran's game.
Oh yeah, I'm as someone who doesn't play enough, I'm wondering why Tana's there. I'm not sure I understand her addition. Maybe I'm the only one, but explain to me, educate me.
Someone tried to play combo when they shouldn't in LA, I guess. I don't know.
Did anyone run a? Have you ever seen a Tana Melee deck that works? But I have not.
No. I mean, combo should be good in Melee, but when you down and you start doing your shit, people are like, okay, I'm gonna attack that guy that doesn't have a board.
Yeah, fuck that guy.
There's also 3 players can be running Hand Judgments and Nightmares.
And it's more common in Melee than it's in Joust, so I mean,
Yes.
Well, I mean, they already restricted some of the pieces for the Tyrell Lion, so I'm just wondering like where
So-
her spot is.
The
Wait,
version of Wonder Woman that I played in my top 16 game at Gen Con that was there that had sort of stormed through the Swiss a little bit. It was running Tana. So-
okay. I mean, if there is
OP
if
restricted
people
Roy
have
Rogers,
been
is that
playing
what happened?
combo,
I wasn't
in
playing
Melee,
it. I was playing Tyrant Rush. They OP restricted my Gen Con deck to the ground.
Sorry, Buzz.
no,
Well,
if
Buzz,
if-
people,
how
if people
well
have
they
been
get.
playing combo in Melee, then I agree on there. Because it really doesn't believe the way it's shaped right now, at least in Melee. Creates so uneven.
I mean, could be Danny just being like, you know what? I don't fucking want to deal with Melee creeping up in this other format too. Let's just knock
Combo,
that
yeah.
shit right out.
Yeah. No, so
Seems reasonable.
sure, why not? Get it on there.
So any other thoughts about melee restricted list before we move on to the real potatoes?
Flea bottom.
Yeah, Flea Bottom, I think it should be there. Maybe not as many that should have does run Flea Bottom, but less streamlining.
I mean, it's
It
there
really
for
is.
it's there for Tyrell, right?
Yeah,
Tyrell
Tyrell
with extra
is
challenges,
already
extra draw.
like one of the strongest, and getting all the or snapcasters in so easy.
Mhm.
So
For the most part, though, I'm happy with the list.
yeah.
Well,
I mean,
only
I
complaint
wanted
is it
Song
could
of
be
the
bigger.
Seven on it, and it's
Well,
Yeah.
it does seem at the very least that the melee list, as Buzz said earlier, was the one that the community has sort of the most obvious say in. So if
Yeah.
going into we've got the big American in a couple months, we've got the big American melee at Gen Con, and so Danny is clearly listening in at least when it comes to the community in melee. So I'm a little bit bullish on his ability to at least make attempts to sort of manage the melee metagame. Because
There's a
we gotta-
Melee metagame. There's 3 Melee tournaments a year.
Well,
Can we
yeah,
please
yeah, there
kick
is.
Glazer off?
we'll talk about melee.
You mean
All
like,
right, well, let's
you mean
change
like
our subject
Dan
that's
Klansman off?
closer to Glazer's heart. That is the Joust restricted list.
I broke that.
So my co-hosts, Tom can wake up now. How do we want to do this? Do we want to go card by added card, or do we want to talk in general about it?
at least archetype.
Just talk about what's not on it. All that matters.
Well,
Let's talk.
Judgment.
How come there are Martell, Targaryen, and Lannister cards on here, but there are not Tyrell cards on here?
All right.
There are
Yes.
3 new
Well,
Tyrell
there-
cards.
Three Tyrell cards.
What?
but-
Okay,
What?
Tyrell
One-
cards that
one
don't
third
involve
of the
combo
cards
is not
are Tyrell
Tyrell.
cards.
All right,
Alright.
so
Combo's
CT's
not Tyrell.
CT's
is
also
right.
not allowed to talk.
All right.
CT is
Combo's not
right.
Tyrell.
I'm
I
gonna,
agree.
I'm gonna take this out of my hands, and I'm gonna throw it to the only person on this cast who has written their own restricted list.
Hey.
Sid, what do you think of the additions to the Joust and subtraction? Very important. From the Joust restricted list.
I think it's pretty obvious. Like this is the RL plus. I'm not going to take credit for this list, but Danny may or may not have said he was watching Kublai closely, and it feels like kind of an extension of, as other people have said, of kind of the combo killer, which was a total failure the first time around. And even Danny kind of recognized that. I think in his little article, he said like it didn't go far enough. So this goes further. I think it's absolutely doing its job at killing combo. The RL is obsolete, and that's what I wanted. I didn't want it to ever stick around. But what this doesn't do is it doesn't curate the meta like the melee does a little bit. And whether that's good or bad is up to us individually. I think it's good. I actually don't think we're quite ready for a comprehensive like meta shifting restricted list.
All when you need.
Oh no, it's fine. I'm happy
Sid?
with this for now.
Wait.
I like the
You're next,
meta.
Sandy. You're next, Sandy.
So wait,
No, I have a
Roy.
question for
I've
Sid.
got something to say to Roy. Roy, you know how some people watch porn on the internet?
No.
Yeah.
Some
That's-
some
that-
people.
That's how fucking often I send Danny restricted lists. I don't want to hear that Sid's the only person that's ever written his own restricted list. I fucking hate.
Sorry.
Go ahead,
There's
Sandy.
a difference.
All right.
Yeah.
What's your
Sorry,
question?
First of all,
the
let me-
difference between like your surreptitious emails and my widely accepted and successful ARL.
Yes.
Sure.
So I think to further Blazer's analogy, while there are people that watch porn on the internet, Sid is the only one that's actively had sex.
Ooh.
In that
Oh,
he's run a tournament and actually put it into practice and like successfully done that. Anyway, my question for you, Sid, do you think that the diversity of the meta in top 8 at Kubla or in the final table at Kubla led to Danny looking at it and saying, this is a good state for the game to be in?
absolutely 100%. Give Kubla full credit for this. I don't know. He said he was going to be watching. Like he told me that he would be keeping an eye on it and see what happened. So maybe not. Maybe he was blowing smoke. But
Oh yeah, 64 fucking worst to come decks. This is great.
Well,
this is
no,
perfect.
that's the overall. You're right. That's the overall field.
Still
of course,
agree
was
with
a
you,
ton-
CT.
was 50% worse to come, but that's not how the top 16 or the top 8 shook out,
Exactly.
or how the
it
top 4
wasn't.
shook
Yeah,
out.
yeah, it wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
Euros was even worse in proportion.
Actually,
right,
yeah.
with worse to come.
There was 50% at Euros and a positive qualification rating.
Got it.
That's
Christ,
dumb.
okay, that's
as
problematic.
fuck.
I mean,
Oh
I
my
think
God.
that.
it's not a
That-
worse to come. Yes, that's fine.
Jess,
That's
you're
fine.
currently muted. I think.
I said I'm a little bit partial to Wars to Come. I think it's sweet.
I'm not complaining.
I mean,
But
Good agenda.
I think the
Pointing it
separate the thing about Wars to Come that's kind of the problem with Wars to Come, but also good for it. Like Wars to Come is not an agenda that necessarily pushes a deck in a specific direction, right? You can't say like a Wars to Come deck is 100% going to be X, Y, or Z archetype, right?
It's
You can-
is it what worst to come deck isn't mid rangey?
I figured out.
Bark.
I
Sins?
just figured out how you errata doesn't have a drawback. Cannot need a
That's-
action card. That's it. I found it.
Oh, that would be
No,
amazing.
That would be
That would
that
pretty
would be
good.
amazing.
terrible. No one would ever
I-
run it.
I would still run it in certain.
No, I think
certain
people would
decks.
run it still.
People
Yeah.
would run.
There are
Just
too many
changes my
good
deck
fa-
building decision.
It needs a drawback.
There are Wars
It
to
is
Come without
stupid.
Solis. Not today. Not today, boys.
Yeah, well,
that's the-
Baron
and
Wars to
wait.
Come is a control deck, so not a
Solis
mid-range
is the
deck.
game forcing you to nail your house card, not you nailing your house.
Yeah, got around it.
Your
Got
house
around
card
it.
may not be
Got
nice.
him.
Whatever you guys do. I'm in.
Uh,
No, worst to come is a
So-
problematic agenda, but it's by far not the biggest problem.
Oh, yeah.
I just
there
feel
I
like-
agree. I just think
I feel like like mono decks should exist, right? It's just that all these wars to come are replacing what all the fealty decks would have been.
Right.
Well, it replaces
Most
everything
banners.
else except occasionally crossing, right? Like, there's very little reason not to run a Wars to Come if you're running a mono faction deck.
I
Right,
love.
but
I think Wars to Come is great for the game.
I
I like.
think you're
I'm glad
It's
that
not like
bans-
people were playing Green Sight and shit before that. You know, you didn't have a lot of options.
fair. But
I
how
think
about
Everything was
only
banner
makes the
Stark,
game
right? I
help.
mean, come on.
Going
Jesse
back to
makes
the
sense.
restricted list,
is it restricted?
the
list?
ostensible
right.
reason for
Right.
this cast.
All right.
Oh,
So, in general, then, just to be real quick for our audio listeners, the cards that were added were the Dornishman's Wife, Littlefinger's Meddling, Dragon's Tail, Hear Me Roar, the Red Viper, the core set Red Viper to be clear, Tower of the Sun, All Men Are Fools, Six Maids in a Pool, and To the Rose banner with Hand's Judgment exiting free at last.
I think there's
Why-
a couple of cards here that are over.
Well,
Agreed.
we all
Where
know
is
it's Dragon's Tail, right? It killed. I mean, let's pour one out. I'm gonna pour this down my throat for Lanny.
Where is Heads on
Oh.
Spikes?
Yeah.
indeed.
Where's
Like,
Heads
how
on
the fuck did they restrict all this shit?
Guys,
and
It's on
stick
the
it all
melee
on-
restricted list.
let's focus on the cards that are on there. So, which cards stand out
Okay.
as the overkill cards?
Just
CT.
here, just
Hear Me Roar sounds out as an overkill card. Like Lannister's not in a great
Horseshit.
place. Yeah, like the thing is
It
like
won Kubla. It won the second most recent tournament.
right, but I
Yeah,
don't think
it's in
Hear
the
Me
best
Roar
list.
is the
There
problem
were-
with that deck.
there were 3 that weekend.
There
Yeah,
were
and
no
here-
other
and if you
restricted
wanted a
cards,
problem,
but this one, that deck is fine. It's intact.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
yeah.
So restrict
Ed.
Cersei. I don't care who you restrict. Don't
just talked
touch
about
any more clans.
It's not
Why?
Hear Me Roar.
It's not that fucking hard.
It
So
doesn't
the
affect
next one-
Klansmen.
Card is cool.
What is affected about Klansmen?
It doesn't matter. It matters that like Hear Me Roar is on the list and it shouldn't be.
Yeah.
I think it's
yeah,
a cool
that's
card.
correct actually.
It's the only strong thing that Lannister has going for it right now that it can jump people into challenges.
But like, what are they taking over it? There's literally no card that they wouldn't be taking. It's not an effective because like in every Lannister deck I can think of,
if it's not an
just
effective
restricted
restriction,
card.
why is it on there?
I have no fucking idea. That's what I'm asking.
Kill Wonder Woman. It's to kill Wonder Woman.
Sure, but
Yeah,
like,
but you did that with Annals and Wheels and Meddling and Dornishman's Wife. Like it's done.
And the
It's
release of Breaking Ties, which bounces almost every piece that makes the deck work.
And Wonder
Yeah.
Woman throws tons of power on locations,
Thanks.
and those are. I mean, we've got the Droman now. Like you don't need it. Dumb.
I'm
Dumb.
just saying. I mean,
Dragon's Tail is also not a problem with all these other cards restricted.
All right, so
Can I,
before I get like entirely negative, I do want to say that I do commend Danny for taking like for killing combo entirely. I think it was such a negative connotation throughout the community for a long time. I'm glad he did it. I'm super happy before we get into a hyper competitive season. I mean, I wish you would have done it before Euros, but I mean, like it didn't win Euros, so. But I think that Danny did a good
Suppose.
job. I think we will always have something to bitch about the restricted list. I think he went overkill on some stuff, but he did take Hand's Judgment off, which I like. That was my biggest gripe about the last one, was because like not everyone could play it anymore. Like, it was an issue. So before I get entirely negative on Hear Me Roar and just like kill myself, I do just want to say that like I do think Danny did a fairly decent job, and I think the game is in a much better place when this is live in 11 days or whenever it happens than it is today, right? Like I think the game is in a better place with it.
His judgment coming off was the right call, for sure.
yeah,
Yeah,
I
it
think,
probably should've never been on.
I think you guys are perhaps like emotionally reacting to cards like Hear Me Roar being on this list. Hand's
Of
Judgment,
course,
I agree,
I'm
should have come
emotionally
off.
reacting.
No. My point is, it doesn't actually prevent any of the decks that you would build because it's the only card on the list that you would take.
Exactly.
All it does is prevent you from adding the Dragon's Tail to it or Meddling or whatever bullshit card you're gonna run. That
Apparently
you wouldn't
Jesse was
ever
running.
build,
Jesse
like-
was running one
So-
of those.
I disagree because Littlefinger's Meddling is making its way into a lot of my decks. So
Yeah.
just inherently, any other card that would combo with Littlefinger's Meddling in some way is hurt by this restriction.
I agree, and I think that's the point of putting Littlefinger's Meddling on the restricted list.
Which does deserve
Uh,
to be there, for sure.
Here's
Yeah,
what
But
it
if
does.
it's running Klansmen.
it takes a little bit more options away from Lannister, who already has like nothing. Like they've just put him into more of a tightly packed corner.
No. What
I don't like
options?
that.
What Lannister deck? Like this is my point. I think the
what
combination
competitive
of
Lannister deck.
yeah, like Annals, Wheels,
That's
and
fair.
Littlefinger's meddling. I think those three should be there, and that
Yeah.
I think those three should absolutely
Agreed.
be there.
Clearly,
like,
doesn't have to be
is
there,
there-
but
is
no
there a
competitive
secret-
Lanny deck.
Yeah, exactly. No,
Because
there's
serious
current one,
Lannister
but
deck
still.
running
Guys,
any
we're
of those.
talking about the future.
Yeah.
Future.
There'll be another restricted list in the future. I'm not sure why we're concerned about something that doesn't exist.
For me, it's principle that don't keep stuff that's not actually for combo piece on the list. Keep
You're never-
Hero Roar. I'm never ever. But
I'm never gonna. You're never gonna convince me that more cards on the list is a bad thing. If they just go through the game restrict every like 7th card, I'd be like, cool.
And
I
this is
would
also,
like,
by
I
the
would
way,
like to focus on actually card a lot of, because if you're gonna make a new restricted list, you're gonna have to take Mirror off probably and put something else on. I would have liked to put something else on right now,
yeah,
but it's only principles.
I don't have those.
I do like the fact that all of the neutral cards are not used in like only other than the 3 plots, which I have a lot of synergy with each other. I think the neutral cards you don't generally see in general purpose decks. You see them only in degenerate decks. And I think this is why I would be against, like, for example, Flea Bottom being on this list.
Are we sure that To the Rose Banner, Knight of Flowers decks are dead?
Yes.
I think so.
I think
What about
without,
Eleanor Bounty of Highgarden decks?
I was thinking Big
I
Brienne.
think
Those decks are
Without-
sweet.
without meddling, I think it's difficult to pull it.
But you can play Eleanor Bounty and meddling now.
Yeah.
So you can.
Why
Yeah.
not?
Oh, Bounty's not on there. I thought
No.
said
No,
Bounty
dude.
was on there.
No. It was
No,
on the
but-
Arl, guys. It was on the Arl.
That's
Danny
10
didn't pay
gold
attention.
and
Close enough.
meddling. What is your win condition there? What are you playing with that 10 gold?
I don't know.
Mason
Give
You're
someone a bunch of
You're
gold and they're
forgetting
figure it out.
All Men Are Fools is on the list now. Like,
Maybe
Yeah.
like a
All-
sweet Thomas 7 stream. Like,
Yeah. Lady
But
Sansa's
Hannah was posting about-
Rose.
he was like, okay, this crappy song goes out, Hand's Judgment comes in. He was a happy man. Like,
Yeah.
so
I think just putting on All Men Are Fools and the card draw card 6 maids was like enough of the problem, fixing the problem.
I have
now,
you can't even run an honest ladies deck now.
If you want to
Yeah.
kind of do the stuff that like Sid's talking about, like you can't even do that. But like the amount of combo that exists within the game now is fine.
Yeah.
Just none.
Like 0.01%.
People will,
cannot-
I do think
I think people will still try here and there, but it'll be bad, and that's fine. That's good.
The
I have-
only
the one
John's away, so
I don't know. This was very close to what John was pushing for, so
Yeah.
I wouldn't be. I Dark Knight is probably pretty happy.
I'll
Hopefully.
find out this week.
Tower of the Sun is
SJT.
this.
That's actually the one thing I was going to point out. Tower of the Sun is, I think, an overkill edition, even by the criteria we're looking at before. I think there are Mortel decks that would want to run like Wheels or Meddling and can't
Yeah.
because the combo with Tower of the Sun.
Yeah, a big reason is Dornishman's Wife was one of the ways that you'd be able to gain gold to play in all of the phases before marshalling, and it's on there. So
Yeah, so Tower seems just unplayable.
John suggested Tower of the Sun. So
I just like if he's trying to future-proof it, right? He doesn't want to have
Yeah.
to deal with combo again.
what we
right.
suggested last time, right? Like because this is literally our complaint after.
Yeah,
the
with
first
even
two.
more stuff, right? Red Viper's
Yeah.
on there. I'm surprised Brienne is not on there, but I
I
think
wish Brand was on. Okay.
so let's move into the cards then that we wish that were on here, and I will put Tom Malucci on the spot here. Tom, what's missing?
Want them all, or you want one set?
Everything.
Let's
Oh.
just give us one
Tom.
set, and then we'll come back to you.
Mason Hightower.
Hell yeah.
Agree. 100%.
No one except Roy believes that, and probably Sandy believes that shouldn't be on the list.
TT's not gonna like my
And
next one.
Johannes Järvinen.
Your next one's probably wrong then.
wins.
And and Wama. Let's not forget Wama.
Who?
His deck
I'm
is
not sure. I'm not
No,
sure.
Wama
he-
would agree.
No,
He agrees,
Wama
I'm
didn't seem
pretty
that
sure.
that psyched on Hightower. I think his deck works.
It doesn't.
No,
Does it?
no. So
Doesn't even
that's
work?
that's
Come
the
on.
Doesn't
problem
run
with
a
those.
Minerva.
That's the problem with those two cards, right? They are both super good cards, but like Mace being able to just gain a shitload of power and get card advantage and not need to have the money to support it. Like I played the Mace Hightower deck. I went 6-1 with it at Swiss. Like I got beat by Donovan, so it's fine. But like the deck doesn't need to try to have money to like power Mace through. It just
You don't win
has-
challenges, right?
You don't need to win challenges.
Right.
But yeah, you don't need
Those
to
two
win
cards don't need challenges.
Guys,
Yeah.
is there some mechanic coming that lets you bring something into play every single phase?
There
Is there does this
Predates-
restricted list change every so often, or is it static? And we're
Like,
stuck
it's
with it
well,
coming out
forever?
like in-
you
Sure.
understand
Okay.
though, right? You have to have the gold to get the like, unless you got a bunch of Shadow Zero characters. Which we've only
You just-
seen one so far,
I mean, I
The
guess.
thing-
and it's a Night's
But that-
Watch.
But isn't that one, and then you're basically set for the rest of the round?
So
But
I-
this is the point of the restriction. Is
yes,
that, like the Mace is fine on his own if you have to pay the gold for him. Because at a certain point, even if you have all the gold in the world, you're gonna run out of gold, right? Like you're gonna have to pay shadow costs, you're gonna have to pay ambush costs. You will run out of gold. But when I can basically marshal and then end my marshaling phase with 0 gold or 1 gold for flea bottom or whatever, and then flea bottom a character and then use Mace into dominance, like, and just get 3 power with no gold, like that's not.
I agree. It's very unfair.
I wholeheartedly agree with you. So here's why I agree with you, and here's why I think Danny should have done it. So everyone's argument about "Hear Me Roar," I'm going to go back to it, is that it just won Kubla and Lanny Crossing is so
No,
good.
that's not the argument.
That's literally what people said outside of you, Glazer.
Okay.
No,
So
I said
it was just in a major tournament and it just won a major tournament, correct?
And
Yeah.
Danny was watching.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
That's
Mason
why.
Hightower have now won several big tournaments. Like,
True.
Like,
Right, there's arguments for
dominant.
future proofing cards, but like this is a problem that exists now,
Yeah,
and it's gonna get worse. with Shadow.
I'd like to know.
I
how
like
it's
Mason
named.
Hightower, but it is busted. Like, it is unfair to the game, I think, in a lot of ways. Like, and now they're just like giving us more ways to trigger Mace. Like,
Yeah.
Which is just
and we
really-
do, and we want it dealt with before Gen Con, right? That's the issue here.
I mean,
don't-
if not, I'm just gonna take Mace.
I mean,
It's not-
There's
I don't-
no way. There's no way this is.
Yeah,
No.
Kaiser's
I-
not.
Right. It should have been
I'm
addressed. here.
curious. Do you guys think that there's just not enough ways to deal with character abilities in the game right now? Like, it seems
There's not.
like a ridiculous position to take.
But
There's not.
Sandy,
If
you
there
want me
was,
to have
why would Tyrell be doing so
15
well?
Gold on Begging
People are
Brother?
bad.
Hey, he's
Because-
once per phase. You're gonna run out, and you're gonna
Yeah.
run out
So
quick.
the problem.
Nightmares does
Run
nothing to
milk
Mace.
of the
Right,
party.
Nothing.
Okay,
So-
okay, so then
Milk is
Begging
now-
brother, not enough. Like
But
it's
to the
not
sword.
enough.
Milk is
so
it.
wait, doesn't or,
One of his
Like,
15 dupes.
Bye.
All right, I'm out. I'm out.
Valor,
Valor,
Valor.
like,
Sword.
I mean,
Come on.
Honestly,
All right, hold
like,
on a
You
second.
guys are saying
Didn't
an
we
honest
give-
deck that does
didn't we give
challenges.
Tyrell-
Can't,
wait, no, but didn't we give Tyrell a specific attachment that doesn't allow other negative attachments?
has
We did.
anyone ever seen that card in play?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
During
In a
Euros.
combo.
Really?
Yes.
Really?
I played
the
it.
Show me,
Cut.
show me a winning list with that card.
In the cut,
I
there
swear to
was
God.
Mace decks.
Wait. That
Platt's
was
deck.
in Platt's deck at
Yes.
Canadian Nationals.
Yes.
Canadian
That-
Nationals.
Oh,
It
and
was
we've
also in
restricted everything else that made that
won
work.
Jesse's tournament, or not Jesse's. excuse
Again,
me.
we've
Well, Jesse's
restricted everything
tournament.
else in that deck.
It's Tom's
Sandy,
tournament.
Sandy.
So
It was in the cut in a Mace deck at Euro.
A
Like,
fine card.
it's a good, and it's not like Beyond Reproach doesn't exist either, right?
Right,
Like,
beyond
and
reproach,
hey,
complication.
You have 10
so-
goddamn plots to play with all. So it's
Can-
not like you're sacrificing anything to run
Like,
it.
if more people are gonna run Milks, they are gonna put Beyond Reproach in the
But
in
then
the
you can
pot
get
deck.
that power via challenges. Like the argument is that good, like I guess honest.
Can't get
decks
as much.
that run-
You can't get as much power from challenges as Mace can get. Mace with no extra work is 3 to 4 power return, regardless of all
the
challenges.
extra, with the extra work of putting a character into play.
I mean, you play a
Well,
card in marshalling, right? You're in challenges. It's called flea bottom, so that happens.
So okay,
And then
there's no ways to
Yep.
control location, right?
So then
now
you
you're
can just
trying to control
ambush.
it.
If
Right,
they mess
yeah.
with your flea bottom, you ambush because Tyrell doesn't have any good ambush characters. Then you
Well,
flash
It's a good thing
predominance.
there's no
Then you
plots that-
latent and standing phase. Let's not forget that latent's a thing too. now.
Leighton.
So,
Okay,
hey,
like,
so Sandy, with your 15 answer cards in hand, which characters are you putting in play to win the game with?
That's
know, but I
exactly
mean,
right.
it's-
Gentlemen,
I
I'm
mean,
going to make a
playing
point now
cards,
about
so I
Tyrell.
don't
Yeah,
actually put characters
So-
into play.
The problem isn't any of the things you guys are talking about. The problem with Mace is that Tyrell has a lot of other redundancy and a lot of
Yeah.
other really strong themes. So you
I
don't.
agree with that.
So the fact that they have all these plus Mace means that you can, by playing good, honest thrones, get to 10 power, which is a perfectly reasonable thing to do in a game, and then play Mace and win before your opponent can respond. Right? That's the most successful Tyrell strategy with Mace. It's not sit there with the wall and claim power. It's get yourself within striking distance of winning through usually honest means, and then slap Mace before they have an answer and go boom, 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 boom. Because you can do that, and that's how I've won a ton of games with Tyrell. Like,
I've
like
actually
That is
That's a
valid,
good
but there
point.
are also games where like I won games with 12 power on Mace.
Yeah,
Yes,
I've
and like
seen that
and
too.
that was high tower.
yeah,
Right.
I agree with that, Tom. But that kind of games is much more answerable by the strategies Sandy is saying. Like, if your deck is prepared for Mace, I think you can stop the 12 power on Mace. I could be wrong. I'm not as good as you at card games, but like I played enough Tyrell that I feel comfortable saying that people can stop you if their deck is ready for you for the 12 power. But the 5 power to close a game strategy is really difficult for even really good players to get around, and I think that's what the problem with Hightower and why it should be restricted with Maze. And I'm saying this is Mace is my
both be
favorite
problems.
card So-
Can they both be problems?
I
'Cause I'm
want
fine
Mace
with
and
them both being
Hightower
problems.
restricted because I can't beat it with Barra. That's my honest opinion. That's
You
my
can't
honest.
do it with Barra.
What
All
about
the kneeling in the
new Barra
world
dude that's
doesn't
coming
help.
out?
I would
At the
argue.
beginning of the phase, you blank a kneeling character. Kneel him, blank him.
Let me make a counter proposal. I think what is actually would be more interesting is a combination of either Mace and Flea Bottom or Mace and Leighton being restricted rather than Hightower. I think that if you restrict Mace and Hightower, I think the engine just goes away. That deck totally goes away, and I don't think that's interesting.
Absolutely.
think it's
no,
there's-
no,
that-
no.
Absolutely does not.
Hey, wait. So Errata has already been established as acceptable. How about just Mace once per round?
That's
Yeah.
then
Instead
it's
of once per
unplayable.
phase.
Then you
for
just-
a house
Then you
character.
just play the 6 cost Mace because he's cooler.
Yeah.
And it
Mace
sounds
is
like a
Mace
good
is
solution to
unplayable.
me.
Mace is
Perfect.
unplayable.
Perfect.
I think
Twice per round.
I think Sandy is wrong there. I think you always will run the 7 cost. I mean, the 6 cost Mace with Hightower restricted becomes a little bit more interesting in some Tyrell decks, but you still run. I mean, you still run the 7 cost Mace. Like the ability to reuse an informant that you had to set.
I just
Yeah.
wish he was limit 3 times around, just like Cersei.
Like his blink ability is still good.
And
even
fun.
without
I
The
mean,
power.
I,
Like, yeah.
I think
If
it's
you
a
just
fun
made it
ability.
once.
I think literally my favorite play at Euros was in the first round where my opponent spent all of his challenges to like an intrigue challenge of 20 to use Hyena trigger on my left because my right had 2 dupes on him. And I was like, I'm gonna blink him out with Mace, and he just he like died a little inside, and I was like, well, sorry.
It was on the, it was on the board.
It was on the board, correct? He just
Same thing as like this weekend, someone milked my Marge and left Mace unmilked, and I was like, okay, I'll
Did you
blink
release
Marge.
it in
Like,
Alpha?
Hey, you know what the real worst is? I lost a game because I put the 3-cost Stark attachment on a Renly. He drops Mace, and it's just like, all right, that shit's solved. And then I had to sack one of my important guys. For
got him,
game, so
boys.
it's
Got
just-
Now that's a story that warms my heart. All right.
At least it
So
shouldn't. It was one of the Brotherhood guys. All right.
oh, never mind. So Tom, what's the other set of cards? Since we talked about Mace and Hightower to death at this point.
You mean the next set, not the other
Next.
set. Dorn and Secret.
I'm
should
actually
both be
fine.
on
No, I'm fine. I'm actually fine. with that.
I also think Dorn needs a limit. Secret Team needs a limit. Dorn
I
Dorn
think if you
game
restricted,
doesn't need to
I
be
think
in
if
the
you
game.
restricted both
If you
Dorn's fine.
separate them, it's both. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure, Dorn and Secret Schemes together is a huge problem. But like I'm really annoyed with how like Secret Schemes and Dorn's game were designed with a concept in mind that like their maximum was inherently 6, right? When they were designed, the most you could have in your use pile was 6. And then Ricasa was created. And then after that, Mr. Come was created. And now it's very easy to get like 8 or 9 triggers off of these things that like these cards weren't designed and tested to give you 9 cards, you know, like so.
But the strategy was also unplayable before.
Right.
So,
Yeah, but the strategy could be playable if the upper limit was still like 5 or 6. Like it doesn't have to be lowered to 3. It just needs to be controllable.
A limit 5 or something would have been fine for sure.
You mean we have a designer that makes cool cards, and then later in the design, he's like, "Let's roll the dice and bust this shit," and it just happens.
I mean, it's the same reason that songs are suddenly broken. Danny will keep printing the same fucking type of card until it explodes. No matter what it is, if he likes this fucking idea, he's gonna put 500 cards for that thing.
I would say that
Which would be fine if cards had limits.
Right. But they never do.
They don't ever.
You know what would make Danny's job like literally a million times easier? And I know we've talked about it before, but I legitimately believe it. Like Danny could continue to print these bullshit busted cards if there was a draw cap. If there's a draw cap in the game, he could continue to print these bullshit cards, and it'd be great. It'd be fine. It'd be cool.
If only there was a version of this game that had a draw cap.
But Bloodthirst. What?
That was still draw cap. It's just Martell.
Also, by the way, spoiler alert: Dorn gets around a draw cap.
Yeah, Dorn doesn't draw, so that's cool with me.
Let's not forget the 1.0 players here should definitely know that how powerful.
Ad cap. You have an ad cap though. Just cards from deck to hand.
Does that mean?
Dorn and Secret Schemes need to be separated. Like 100%.
Yeah, I agree.
It's just because Martell has enough other draw too, right? It's not like those are the only 2 Martell draw cards. Like, how about you don't just run the 2 stupid, mindless, easy ones? Although, you know who else needs some draw fucking reined in? Terrell.
All right, well, so I have
they do with high tower.
Wait, they did 6 maids in a pool. They did.
Once you restrict high tower, the draw goes down.
So, is there a way to restrict the Dorn's game Ricasa nonsense without just making the deck unplayable?
No.
Adjustments off the list.
The pieces are already weak enough as it is. Ricasa's easy to kill. You can cancel.
Milk. You've got.
Oh yeah, Hand's Judgment being off the list. I forget that we got that back. Yeah.
You can just.
But the fact that deck is gonna run both the Martell cancel and the Hand's Judgment cancel means that it's not.
Dorn's game is so safe.
So can we?
Dorn's game is much safer now.
But you're putting more card slots into protecting win condition.
True.
Right.
True.
Which is
fair.
fair.
You can get 10 power off one card. It seems fine to be able to protect it.
Let's see.
I'm just saying.
You run 3 and 2, right?
I think
3
I hate
plot cancel 2.
No, I think you run 3 and 3 probably.
In all likelihood. I think the real concern with that deck is the draw, right? Like if you limit the draw somehow, it's much less of a concern that you have these ways to protect it because you have much more trouble seeing it. It's that you can run literally all the goddamn draw in the world, which means you're going to have the answer to protect your thing. Otherwise, you have to draw it, and then we're playing the same game as always, where like the combo or the setup is fragile, and now you have a real game.
Until my Martell Kraken fucking Saltcliffe Sailor Ricasso deck has all the stealth on characters, and
that's I mean, also, by the way,
if you
not close. What's the new card that's coming? The Shadows card.
Nighttime Marauder.
Nighttime Marauder.
Yeah. Completely kills that Martell. Like that Martell deck can just say one or two. And have a nice day.
No, they just changed the deck to have no 1-cost cards except Dorn's game.
It's never in the discard pile unless they pull it for injury play, which they shouldn't. The Greyjoy deck should not be winning.
No, they're not. No.
Greyjoy reigns, guys. Greyjoy reigns.
I still think if you restrict Dorn and Secret, I still think Secret Scheme Dorn's game need a limit of 5, and Dorn probably needs a limit as well, like 2 per turn, maybe 3. I think 2.
Yeah,
3. So 3 is it's a 4 drop. It should be strong. 3 is fine.
Right.
Yeah,
3 is fine.
I played combo at Euros. I had some pretty fast games, so I went around and watching a lot of games this weekend and commentating on them.
So you played combo and you scouted? What a true
Oh yeah.
That's why I love Buzz. Living his best life.
The only tournament that enforces no scouting, Alec. So I saw Dorn a lot, and they all just hard mulligan for Dorn. And I'm like, okay, I win. Let's go. Or they don't see Dorn. This is gonna.
If I'm playing Greyjoy, or like if I'm playing a deck that like actually I don't know has to make challenges to win, like how the game was designed, and I see Dorn set up against me, like on setup, I'm usually like, well, I lose. Like
Greyjoy?
can't do anything.
Greyjoy is so excited to see
That's
Dorn
great.
because it's like we do not sow.
Yeah,
You're on. Now
Greyjoy was a
Dorn
bad
is
example
mine.
though. So.
Oh.
So, as Targ, I find it very easy to just have all challenges resolved with the attacker having 0 strength and winning dominance. that's how I've won my games. So, just like Astapor, 0 strength. I don't win. You don't win. I don't win. And then when it's my turn, no challenges. I win dom. I think that's a viable strategy. I mean, it's definitely where we want the game to be, right? No?
I don't know where
I'm not. No comment.
No.
You want the game to be where you do challenges with your dragons and then you burn your own dragons so that you don't win.
Yeah.
You don't know what you're talking about.
Why did you
I
even
wanna go
initiate
back-
the challenge at that point?
I want to go
I
back.
screwed up.
Ask
For
Sandy.
sure.
I don't know.
All I had to do was hard mulligan for Harrenhal. Those were the days, boys.
All right,
Also, on a
next
side note, what
Oh.
kind of horseshit? FFG just wanted to stab me in the heart by putting out the alt art Harrenhal, the unplayable Harrenhal. Give me the alt art for it. Just, it literally broke my heart seeing it. It's
I thought
like,
you were selling all your alt arts, so you're keeping the official ones.
oh, I'm selling them. I don't care. That was the nail in the coffin.
Hey,
Broke my-
Kill
Hey
Jesse.
Jesse.
yeah. That guy's still messaging me in private messages. He's pissed.
Anyway,
guy?
anyway,
I
moving
love
on, moving
drama.
on. No
I
names.
love
So-
drama.
So,
Oh.
so the top 3 factions. Say the third faction would.
Targ.
Wait. This
Targ,
is not
there you
Martel,
Targ.
Tyrell,
I think
Targ?
Greyjoy is just
Yeah,
as good as
so-
Targ.
No. Targ's way better. I think Drogo and Burn Danny need.
I think too many bad
haven't seen
players played Targ, but Targ is really good.
So
Drogo and Burn Danny?
Guys,
Nah,
guys,
now you lost
guys.
me. You lost
Yeah.
me.
guys,
I
I
don't
would
even-
like I would like
I
to
think-
welcome Tom to the cast, eating all the same shit I've been saying for 6 months. Thank you, Tom. Welcome to the cast.
I don't like that pairing though. Like I don't even
I do.
play Drogo.
Yeah, I don't-
I think that's fine, but I think that
Yeah.
you can put Drogo and Burn Danny in a deck. It's so easy to just completely pressure the board at all times. Like you have 2 ways to do it very,
It gets
very
you an out.
effectively.
If you don't see Danny, you can win with Drogo. If you don't see Drogo, you can win with Danny.
Exactly.
I had never. I'll admit it. I had never played with new Danny for the last 2 days. Alejandro sent me his list. I changed a few cards. Put in
Of course
some.
you did.
Of
Bad
course I
cards.
did.
Put some bad
Fucking
cards.
Nightmares.
Some
Fucking
bad
nightmares.
Put
What
in,
is-
put in that
that's
Stormborn
never-
only attachment, but then realized he was running the 5-drop Danny that doesn't have Stormborn.
So, I will say, new Danny is very stupid.
Yeah.
Like,
Can we
like,
just put new Danny and a dragon is no slave on the list instead?
I want to kill
Ooh.
Danny. Do Danny Dragons?
I want to kill the Danny. I'm personal bias.
So
you play
what-
Martel. All your people are
Yeah.
3 strength. You definitely want to kill new Danny.
I don't fucking care.
I play
Personal bias.
Martel, and that dude Danny has not beat like a solid Martel deck.
As someone who's like not a big Targ player, like I still think Targ is good for the game. Targ keeps a lot of bullshit in check.
Should doesn't
Like,
because
I
do
think
every strength.
Yeah,
pump-
no, I mean, it's because I think good players don't play Target anymore. No,
that's
no
why
offense
every
to
time
all
Alejandro goes
players.
to
Alejandro's
takes
not
Targ, he almost wins it.
he almost,
He almost. Almost
does
wins it.
almost
And
wins
it's-
it. So
And
the
I
thing
mean,
about
after playing against like Ibri, who also plays Targ a lot, and myself, like I don't think we're amazing players. I think I had to work a lot harder.
Let's go back, and that card is trash. That card is literal trash.
God,
Let me just
fixed
to
that, right?
quote a meme, fight me IRL.
Ooh.
So I think Targ is targetable though.
Yeah.
So that's why I think it's relatively healthy. Like again, Targ's a faction that if you're scared about Targ, you can tech your deck in a way that you can consistently beat it. Not always beat it because they can just blow you out with their bullshit Targ cards, but there's like strategies that you can employ. Like I think Targ's a relatively healthy faction. Particularly, I think Tyrell is close, particularly with combo dead, and if we some minor changes, Tyrell's also in that place. Really strong, but if they're the top dog, you play Greyjoy Rose and you just roll Tyrell all day long, right? Targaryen, you run 3 high tower spies and some more strength pumps in your Tyrell deck, and you will roll Targ all day long.
that only Tyrell can really do that, right? You have to banner Tyrell to do that.
I personally think that this is like my big meta shift.
Play Stark.
This is my big opinion of where I think the meta is. After this restriction list with combo officially dead, I think if anyone can find a way to take down Mace, I believe that Barra has swiftly moved up the list. I think Barra is not only playable, but very good right now. Very good. I think it's good.
But Mace is the problem, right? Mace is still the problem. Like
You can't beat
passive
Mace.
power is
cannot
still the
beat
problem
Mace.
for Barra.
You can't beat Mace, and if you have to outplay Targ to beat them.
Luckily, Targ has a ways to deal with Mace.
Bad players.
Yeah, Targ
Targ has
doesn't really
bad
have ways
players,
to.
so it's fine.
Yeah, sort of.
Targ shouldn't have ways to deal with Mace.
What do you mean?
Targ can't deal with
Dragon's
the
no slave.
go to 10, play Mace, win
Yeah.
on the turn you play
Yeah,
No,
Mace.
exactly.
you win. No, you win in the turn they marshal Mace. They don't get his power on challenges because you kill him in challenges.
How do you
Why-
go with
Dragon's no
The-
slave.
Dragons
Are
Slave?
they not running Bodyguard and Crown for some reason? Because if I'm
Or-
playing,
Or Crown
Targ,
of Golden
that's-
Roses.
yeah, that's what I think.
Or Blessed
Yeah,
by the
like-
Maiden.
Or Blessed
yeah,
by the
I'm-
Maiden?
I'm saving.
Or
like, if
are
I'm
running
playing
a
Targ,
Nightmares on your Danny?
Or
I'm playing
Oathkeeper,
Targ
'cause
and
it's
I'm at all good.
sweet.
I'm saving
I mean,
for that.
if you guys get
Or
together,
Hans
if you guys
Judgment.
save up 5 cards, then I'll save up 5 cards, and my
No,
5
it's
cards.
just
can be
need
better
two,
than yours.
or
It's Tyrell. You always have 5 cards because every time you
Or
play one,
Renly
you draw one.
You draw
You not get that?
You can have 0 cards and you can just flea bottom your high tower spy.
there you go.
Yeah.
All right, what's the
And
next
get
tournament I'm gonna
Renly.
do?
Get
Hey,
the Renly on the top of the deck. Renly on top of the
Tom?
deck. Get a Targ player. You're
Tom?
like,
your tournament. I'm gonna actually just play Tyrell play Targ instead of some experimental deck. I'm gonna beat every Tyrell player there.
It's not
on
gonna
the-
happen.
Sound like a plan? Yeah, I
No.
bet I'm making this.
How
If
mu-
anyone's
what are we
going to
betting?
Tom's
'Cause
tournament,
So,
I want in on
so-
this bet.
You are saying, Sandy, I love you playing Targ can beat Malucci playing Mace? Is that what you're saying?
yes, I'm saying that.
Oh, that's a bad bet, mate.
Malucci,
I'm officially stepping down as judge and participating in my own.
Malucci, are you playing Mace? I will come there to judge if you play Mace.
play Mace.
Fly me out.
We can do you want to do a best out of 15? We can live stream it later in the week, Sandy.
Tyrell pretty much
I'll
beats
play
Targ.
Tyrell. You play Targaryen.
The way the best house. It's
Sandy,
not
I
close.
want this. I want you to be able to beat it. If
Yeah.
you do, I will be very happy. I just don't see.
It's
Yeah,
just
you
Didn't I
definitely
beat
won't.
you playing Mace with playing Targ?
me.
I'm not.
I did.
I'm not Tom
Jesse,
Malucci.
yeah.
I'm not Tom Malucci.
Slayer of Dreams, Swiss Master.
I'm not Tom Malucci.
Okay, let's ground rules. It's got to be Tyrell Mono House. Is that fair?
Why are you? Wait.
Tyrell Wars to come. It's settled. I played
Yeah.
the deck this week. I'm not going to change a single card. Don't worry.
Okay.
You'll
I have to
change
build a
it.
Targ deck though.
I am
Don't you
familiar.
have, what's
Out
your
of
target?
my
What do you mean?
cards. Out of my cards. You scum.
I want Iron Throne game tonight. I just want to see it. Let's settle it right now.
No, I've
All right.
I mean,
you
I
got
gotta
another
actually play
pair
for
of
real.
cards for us?
Yeah, one of them needs bigger changes, but Flea Bottom and Breaking Ties.
Yep.
Spicy.
Yes.
Breaking
Is-
Ties
Sorry,
should have
sorry,
to have a
Lucius.
cost.
I know you're
Yeah.
watching.
Is
Sorry.
the ban list or strictly
Wait,
list?
hang on. No,
Ban them
So-
all.
Wait,
So-
time out. That's fantastic.
Flea Bottom should just be banned, but if it's not banned, it needs to be changed so that the character either comes in blank or it's a bestow card. They're the only good options I've heard so far.
The
But
one
if-
thing The only thing that I can tell you about Breaking Ties, the only good thing about it is that people are bad at this game and don't play it correctly. It does not take away from the fact that the game is bullshit. That the card is bullshit. It breaks my heart that it's LGB's card because I love him so much, but I fucking hate that card.
I don't hate it. I don't hate it without Flea Bottom, man.
So in the California tournament,
you shouldn't be able to bounce a 1-string character for a 6-string character. Or
at least
that's
has a real
way
cost,
too cost efficient.
Just have to build around it, right? Like you have to be careful with your 6-cost non-loyals.
You mean you can't play non-loyal characters, which like the game has tons of them?
I mean, Wama seems to have played 1 Randall. Like, but that was
Wama also.
If it's loyal, you can play 3. If it's non-loyal, you play 1. I'm totally fine with that just being
part
of
not
how
boring
you decide to build.
But he's also playing Tyrell. That's like, I have 15 guys. Bounce 1, good luck.
Tons of good loyal ones,
job,
too.
man.
I mean, come on.
Well, the only loyal one that stacks power in that deck is Mace, or to a lesser extent, Renly. So, like, bounce Randall.
Yeah, you don't care.
Yeah.
Renly's a decoy anyways.
March can get power, too, if you're not playing.
Yeah,
that's true. She's also loyal, so there you go.
Also
yeah,
loyal.
yeah, that's the big thing. There are 3 big characters who are loyal, and then
I'm like,
so guys,
playing Tyrell Wars, I kill Randall all the time to resets. He baits resets. People are like, Randall's gonna run me over. I'm an Valor. I'm like, thank you. Randall becomes Mace. All right, I've won this game now.
Yep.
So guys, like, are we
how to
not
play
getting
Tyrell.
the extent to which the entire fucking problem with the game right now is basically Tyrell? Like, every conversation keeps coming back to exactly how much of a fucking huge ass problem Tyrell is. And like, we're gonna say it's Mace and Hightower, but I will bet you almost anything that within like 3 weeks of that comp being restricted, there's another Tyrell deck that is the unquestionable best deck in the meta. And I know you disagree, Sandy. You've made that.
No, I agree with that.
Yeah,
I think the problem is not Mace Hightower. I think the problem is Tyrell's flexibility. Like, I've played against a Tyrell Knights deck that is super good and just runs people over. And it's it's not fair that the house should have 3 good decks.
And the song deck, and it's arguably the best flea bottom abuser, etc., etc. I mean,
and it's so many fucking cards. We can just restrict like 6 Tyrell cards on top of it.
Second edition is so fast. Second edition is just a faster game. Like, economy is just on another scale. Draw is on another scale. They're so vital to the game. So not only does Tyrell have the best draw, the best gold, but they also have the best fucking characters. It's annoying.
I mean, as the game,
the fastest rush to go with it.
As the game and every power creep, like, it becomes faster and faster. Right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't. I wasn't
struggle
trying to
with
say
it.
that Mace and Mace and Hightower were the only problem within that faction, but essentially separating the card advantage from the instant power advantage was my goal there, right? Like, there will still be good decks out of Tyrell, and I don't think we want to bury Tyrell as a faction completely, but they shouldn't have tons of passive power gain and tons of card advantage. Like, they should have one or the other.
How do we get to that point?
Well,
those 2 cards.
You separate those 2 cards, and a lesser extent, if you really want to do it, you've got to hit Old Town. You got to hit Marge. So if you restrict those 4 cards, Old Town, Mace, Hightower, and Marge.
I want Old Town and Formagon. I want Old Town and Formagon more than you could ever possibly fucking imagine.
Old Town Informer is so good.
I hate
that. Is that the filter?
Yeah, filter.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Like, more than you can imagine. I mean, that is my single least favorite
well,
fucking
also,
card
like,
in Tyrell.
See, the problem also is, like, Tyrell is just really fun to play because of all the different, like, triggers, the card filtering. No, like, I mean this really seriously.
And because you win, like, that's why.
And you win, right?
No, no. I dislike it, and I'm telling you that Tyrell is fun to play. Like, it's an interesting deck to play. I'm just not sure.
It's both noob friendly and high skill testing.
It's not
friendly,
interesting to play against, like, at all.
I think
you're like I just played everything.
Like,
sure. I just did everything perfectly for 6 turns. I managed to clear like 4 of your amazing guys, but it took like half of my control, half of my good shit to do this, and now you've still got 8 other amazing characters that I can't match.
Can I just say that Tyrell is 1st edition, and all of the other factions are 2nd edition?
Yep. Not a joke at all. That is the best way to put it. Yeah.
Yeah, we just need. I'm fine with Tyrell being all the other faction.
How long would that take?
Targ and Greydra are close.
No,
I
they're
don't
not.
think-
They're
Yes,
not.
they are.
No, they're not. You're wrong.
Okay, it's okay, Aaron. I'm going to say this for the first time on the show. No, you're wrong. All right, like
Martell is
these
second
carpools are
anyway,
much closer.
so-
And
I think
Martell's also
you're
there,
both wrong.
but Martell is also almost there. Like there just needs to be some more power creep, and those. It's really Barra.
I don't think-
Stark,
I
that
don't
are
think Greyjoy
really
was that
Night's
close,
Watch,
and losing
Night's
Drown
Watch
God
is
hurt them
far
real bad.
behind.
Either everybody on this cast or me is going to be wrong after I beat Tom, or Tom beats me.
or Tom beats you. So when Tom beats you, then we're
back to
back to square
I
one.
mean-
Maybe he's just trying to make the game faster so we can have best 2 out of 3 in Swiss rounds. That's
God.
his goal.
Here's the thing: as all this is happening, like I think I've really faced these last 2 weeks, especially. I've really looked back, everything, and like I don't know. I think I'm just bitching. I don't think the game's in a bad place like I think it
I don't
is.
think so either.
I really don't. I just
Especially
think
now.
that I'm personally struggling with control not being as good as I want it to be. Like, and like I don't like the other decks. I think that is just me personally just being a crybaby about it. Honestly, I think the game's in a great place. I
Yeah,
think
now we
it's
just
getting-
need to eliminate Rush from the game, and we're fine.
Yes.
Right.
Yes,
No.
Jack
Yes.
He brings up an important point.
So,
Though we have
CT,
two
how much
factions
CT,
and
how much
one that
first
can
edition
play
did you play?
control. Sort of. It's not enough.
CT,
So-
how much first edition did you play?
Like the last 2 years,
There was like never run like 2 months of first edition.
there was that
Uh,
one Martell. There was
it
that one
was
Martell
Martell,
bear
yeah,
deck that
and
got
that was
like
it.
instantly restricted.
Immediately, like,
Yeah, they got-
dude,
No,
it was-
Stark.
it is-
They
Stark
hated Rush
Siege.
so bad.
It was
Stark
yeah,
Siege was
they
also
and
good.
they killed that.
And
basically
Euro
immediately.
Knights was also good.
They
Yeah.
killed that
It's
basically
good till the bitter
immediately.
end.
Like it got like 1 or 2 good
Right.
tournaments, and it was like, "Fuck you, go away." God,
Right.
Oh,
Every
Lord.
time it won, though, it would immediately get like a card restricted within like 2 weeks.
Wasn't LaPlante in the top 16 of the last Worlds playing the Euro Knights, Barra Knights?
Who?
It wasn't LaPlante at the.
No,
we're talking about
he and me built a Shadows Knights deck.
Knights deck. Okay.
Yeah.
I just remember, but he was in the top 16, wasn't he? In the
I think
final-
so, yes.
Final one. But anyway, that's 1.0. Jesse, I actually think that with combo officially dead, control is going to be safer to bring to a tournament. And I think we're going to see control
I
decks.
don't know what I'm griping about. Like I'm still placing very well in every tournament I go to.
But there's not
I
enough
just-
control out there, though. It's Barra and sort of Martell, and that's it. Like, what
I
else
think
are you
why-
really
hey,
controlling?
I think
also fucks
Wyman.
control up?
I think Wyman put Stark on the map
That's
with control,
not
buddy.
Star control. Not control.
I do.
Yeah,
I will build a control deck with Wyman, man.
All right, well, let me know when it's
Well,
control, because that.
I
deck
also
does not
think
sound-
Baratheon is in a much better. I'm agree with Jesse. Baratheon's in a better spot than people think now that combo's dead.
But you know, well, Terrell again, right? Like the big
You
and
can
a big
switch
problem with Martell control. I'm not really playing Martell control. I'm playing Martell CT. Is that plot cancel
You're bad.
destroys Martell control?
Yeah, but that's a Martell within Martell problem, not a like
mean,
the rest of the card.
You
pool.
understand that if you go to a tournament, you're going to play other Martell, right?
I
Like
agree,
unless
but I'm saying
everyone picks
We're
unless-
whining about Tyrell. It's not Tyrell that's suppressing
Martell control.
pool.
Yeah. Martell, but okay, Martell control is suppressed, right? Like it's real hard to play Martell control without a reset at this point. Thanks, Mace.
It's not. So I'm confused. The problem is something always tells,
No.
or the
So-
problem is made.
So the
of
problem
those
is
two?
ultimately build around one, but not both.
Can we get back to the restricted list? I want
Yeah.
to have Trixian's SAT on the list.
Yes.
What
Well-
Trixie and what?
Well, those
No.
two together
Someone
doesn't
on
help.
the tables.
Trixie and
So-
what? I'm sorry,
Someone always tells.
I don't understand. Yeah.
Yeah, those two together don't help. What are you restricting with Trixie to make it a choice?
Trixie and
Well,
No,
we could just ban
truthfully, what are you restricting? It's
Ban both.
The wall.
It's Trixie and Maester Kedry. Get them, boys.
The nice
No.
Ghost card.
no.
Meddling's already on the list, right?
so
So
many
Yeah.
ways to
that
use
helps.
Trixie. I mean,
Yeah, but those
there's
Wasa
also-
boys love throwing Kedri out there.
Yeah.
but there's
love
It's
also-
not only
there's-
it's not only in Wausau. We
yeah,
love it.
there's
What if Trade
three-
Routes was restricted just because of its?
Because it's
Redundancy.
stupid. Yeah.
Time a trade route's going to fuck away forever.
I do not like playing a trade routes because you have to for economy, and then a fucking Tyrell deck pulling the strings and copying that shit. I do not like that.
But you know what I like? Someone always tell is in trade routes.
That is
Well,
fine.
That
Comes
is
to
The
good.
problem with trade routes, like restricting trade routes, though, trade routes is actually controversial opinion here. I actually think it's overall been better for the game because it gives all factions access to a good post reset refill.
Get them, boys.
Yeah, like so what's like attrition decks that clear your board, but you've been able to maintain something like a hand. A lot of factions couldn't come back from that. And I know a lot of people on this cast right now really love playing attrition decks. And but you know, it's really nice for factions that don't have the best economy.
It's just like all the cool choke cards in the game are worthless.
Choke.
Yeah, that's not good.
No, the real problem.
You know what it feels like?
Wait.
And I know no one else on this cast knows what this feels like because no one else has done this. But do you know the hurt in your heart when you flip a famine into a trade routes?
Yes.
Yes,
it is fucking depressing. It is fucking depressing.
The real problem.
I've seen Dan Struhal's face. He's like, oh.
The real problem with trade routes is all the other shit it enables. It's that it enables your plot cancel, and it enables your Trixie, and it enables your Mace Tricks, and it enables like if it was just for
so
that, like
calling the banners.
Sure, but their boards were smaller for a while, although now that's gone.
Calling is balanced and
Wait, how does trade route enable your Mace Trick?
Because you get gold early.
Yeah,
my Tyrell deck didn't even run trade route.
More phases.
No, because you have high tower.
Once Shadows is out, you need trade route.
Yeah.
Or to a lesser extent, I guess you can run calling.
Did your deck run pulling the strings?
Yeah.
Yeah,
so you were
ran
running
trade
trade
routes.
routes.
Get the fuck out of here.
I never copied a trade routes once.
He copied counting all day.
That means everyone played coppers against you.
The only time I've ever pressed on with a play is when I copied his Mart with my pulling the strings when he was rolling me at.
Sorry to interrupt, Roy, but back to the restricted list. When is this restricted list going into effect?
11 days.
Monday.
His restricted list is not live.
Is the next pack live for your event?
Yes.
Yeah, of course.
The regional, I don't know.
Yeah, it is.
They have released for regional.
All right.
Excellent.
Okay, how much longer is this episode going to be on?
Yeah.
I don't know.
9 minutes.
9 minutes indeed.
All right.
That's arbitrary. I'm just calling it.
I have a combination to put up for the restricted list: heads on spikes and heads on spikes.
Heads on spikes and all the faction cards. It's only in relation to
heads on spikes. Come on, guys. Now you're just overkill. Come on.
Heads on spikes.
Heads on spikes and king plot. There.
Yeah, deal. It's done.
Pretty reasonable. Heads on spikes.
Me and you should talk more.
Heads on spikes. Get out of here with your heads on spikes. Okay. There's one deck that wins with it. One.
Nah, dude. There's
two. Multiple. Come on.
Yeah,
two. What's number two?
So, guys, why does heads on spikes exist if we have that winter? Why does heads on spikes have that winter plot?
Because it's a free intrigue challenge. I like it. It's cool.
And it's a war plot, and other things work well with it. Like it's the winter
the Peerage Chain would only have one other good card to copy.
Yeah,
reinforcements. Nuts. It's insane.
That wasn't the one I was talking about. I was talking about Martino. Smart.
No, man.
Smart.
It's
dude.
Really
another one that Jesse thinks is a good trigger with it.
Reinforcements. Do you know how many clans get out there for the?
I always forget that that's a war plot. So.
I never do.
Sounds like Klansman propaganda to me.
I'm triggering Timid every round, boys.
God.
Wait, reinforcement doesn't work on Timid.
Yeah, Timid's
it gets me more Klansmen in play, which definitely helps you with Timid triggers. Yeah. I need 7 Klansmen in play. That's how you take down
Jesse, what was your record the last time you played Klansman?
That's okay. It was my fault, right? One building orders. That was my fault.
That was me, you fucker.
I actually believe the problem was allowing other people to convince me to try to play safer cards. Every time I did good with Klansman, I just ran bullshit.
Was it me?
No, it was Glazer.
It's me. I'm getting blamed for.
But I think it was Glazer through me because I told him your Klansman deck sucks and you need more safer cards.
Glazer always had my Klansman list. I promise you.
We were. I mean, the team brought it. Like there was like 4 of us that were playing it.
There was 4 of us that brought it. We all played. But the person like John Bohan is a god. He's still winning with it. Like we don't know what's happening. I also think there's a Lanny Wars to come.
There's
I'll do
definitely
the
a Lanny
Land-
Wars to come.
The
Yeah.
Lanny Wars come clansman list. It's fine.
All right, so we need to jump back to the restricted list and start
because
wrapping
we are
things up.
not good at being on topic. Hey,
No.
Tom, is there anything else you have that you think should be on there?
No other specific cards. There's a concept which is restricted group instead of a restricted list.
That's
I
a
think-
Star Wars.
Yeah.
Oh, it's the Star Wars thing. But
Ugh.
yeah, dude, it's so much better because
I'm for it. Just I don't think they'll do it.
dead now.
Is
And
Alex
we're all
dying
better
over
Yeah,
here.
for
that
it.
worked out.
The
so
freaking
great for
Star Wars champ over
It
here.
had
Guys,
nothing to
I
do
have a-
with the end of the game. You guys are.
Are we sure Alex Hines is alive? If Alex Hines is alive, that shit's not happening. If Alex Hines is dead and Errata suggests he may be, then we have a shot.
I'm
He
pretty
may have
sure,
asked for his Cheerios when he saw the errata, and then that could
Blazer.
be-
I'm pretty sure legally you're not allowed to say Alex Hines is dead in the same sentence because if something happens, they are coming for you. For sure.
Did you not see that Justin Trudeau speech about how Canada's coming for America? Like, come on, man. Got to be careful. All right.
We didn't.
Canada
So we
doesn't
actually didn't
wanna
talk
get-
about
yeah.
the errata. But I mean, like, there's the point, right? Like, was there a way you could actually fix Cudgel without errata?
No.
No, both errata are exactly correct in that they
Yes.
make the cards work the way they're supposed to work and the way that you'd logically think they would work.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't think anyone disagrees with that.
Like both erratas follow the
So,
spirit of what the cards are supposed to be.
100% clear, though, you still shuffle in the event, though.
no.
No.
No,
No, not
Because
anymore.
it's no longer a cost, so it doesn't. It's
okay.
Yeah.
But by the time the effect goes off, it's
It's in
in
the discard
discard.
pile.
Yeah.
Before
Well,
you could have
no, it's not in the discard, but it leaves your hand, so it's not in your hand at that point.
before
Alright.
you could have only that in your hand
Oh,
and shuffle
right.
it in and get 5 cards.
I played Star Wars. I like errata. I just hope they reprint the cards, but they won't.
They won't. They've never done.
No, they did it a bunch in first edition. I had cards when I bought into the game that had corrected text like limited response on Alchemist Guildhall that
Yeah.
other people were
But they,
playing to copy.
they,
but when-
they
when
were
did the Guildhall
reprints
come
of
out in?
old packs. I mean, when they were running
Yeah.
out of them, they
Yeah,
just
yeah.
reprinted. They didn't
That's
actually
true.
release
And
for new
they're
players.
not doing that in the current 2.0, right? They're not reprinting packs, right?
I don't think so, but
because
we
we
haven't.
have a rotation.
They will, though. I imagine, or maybe not.
They,
No,
no,
I
they,
think so.
they've
I think rotation they don't want to.
They won't
they've
have to, dude.
did, like I've seen on the FFG upcoming like the
Jones
boxes.
Dice
as-
is on the way, boys.
No, but if they have to reprint like a previously released product, they won't change the text on the cards in the previously product.
That's what
They
they
just-
did in first edition.
Yeah. But in newer games, I'm pretty sure they made a point to not do that because like they've actually released promos in Star Wars for eroded cards, and the promo is still the original text.
See, that's
What the
good.
fuck?
That's
It's-
how you
it's-
should do it.
They should, yes, they should errata a card and then make a promo of it and
Yeah.
put the new text. The problem is, and I talked to the designer about this at the time, is that they were worried that if they changed the original text and then they ever decided to change that card a second time, then they would actually have to have like 2 different erratas to kind of like point you in the right direction or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Fuck
Right,
up
that's
less.
hilarious.
is
I think
the
what we
response.
have Here's what we have. We have an alt art we can all agree might be necessary to print for the game. An alt art, 2 alt arts actually, since both these cards
No.
need
If
errata.
Sid'll say
wait,
that, we
wait.
better just
Wait,
fucking
wait.
wrap it up. Oh, yeah.
Is,
Like,
is somebody
We only
saying,
need 2 cards.
is somebody saying that we should custom fan-made promo?
Hey, if
What's the correct
FFG won't
text?
make the correct card, we might have to counterfeit this one, boys.
All
We
right,
might-
so for
Have a breakthrough.
Oktoberfest this year, we are gonna have to go forward. You must go back.
you can have
Exclusive
the
alt
bad
arts
one.
with Sid's face on them now. That we will give out as participation prize.
All
With
right,
the
you take the
appropriate
bad one. The
text.
Midwest will take the cudgel.
I know. Yeah, I'll take the cudgel. I love it. So,
As long as it's the original art.
No,
hate
it's gonna have your
Take
face on it, Sid. It's gonna have your face on it.
Hey,
I
real
hate to
question.
black screen it, but if I want to stay married, I have to go. I'm so
Okay,
sorry.
okay.
I didn't think
Hey,
this was gonna take that long.
Does Drown God still run Cudgel?
Yes, they do.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah, of course.
are we done? Like, we should just end the cast before we got
Yeah.
into the like.
We got 2 minutes.
Random
I told you.
tangents.
I told you we'd be done by 8:30.
All right, bye everyone. I
11:30
love
here.
you.
What are you?
I
Jesse.
love you too, Jesse.
All right, we're saying goodbye to Jesse. So we're going to say goodbye to the whole rest of this cast as well. So I want to thank my co-hosts for joining me. We had a pretty rambly, but I think pretty good discussion about the restricted list and its ins and outs. The next real Second Sons episode is next Tuesday, which, let me say what it is. The next Tuesday is the 12th. So tune in then. We'll probably be talking about the outcome of the first round of regionals here in North America, and we'll talk more about the Euros meta. So, yeah, thanks for joining us, and good luck to Tom.
Hey, Darkness just got
Fuck off.